What if the food on your plate today is silently damaging your kidneys and pushing you one step closer to dialysis without you even knowing it? Most people have no idea how quickly chronic kidney damage can develop, or how subtle the warning signs are until it's too late. But what if I told you that some of the most common everyday foods you probably consider healthy, or at least harmless, could be doing exactly that? Can a breakfast smoothie really hurt your kidneys? Could a simple snack be triggering a cascade of damage in your body that slowly shuts down your filtering system day by day? Today, you're going to find out. Because in the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through the hidden truth about 10 everyday foods that could lead you toward kidney failure and possibly even dialysis if you keep eating them regularly. And some of them are going to surprise you. But before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the health info that could literally change your life. Let's get started with a question. What's the real role of your kidneys? And why are they so vulnerable? Most people think of the kidneys as just filters, and while that's partly true, the full story is way more complex. These two little organs are biochemical powerhouses. Every single day, your kidneys filter about 50 gallons of blood, regulating not only waste removal but also fluid balance, electrolyte levels, red blood cell production, and even your blood pressure. Now imagine what happens if you start damaging them. That system starts to fail, slowly, silently, and once 85 to 90% of kidney function is lost, you're left with only two options: dialysis or transplant. There's no in-between. And here's the scary part. Kidney damage usually has no symptoms in the early stages. That means you could be harming your kidneys with your food choices every single day and feel completely fine. So now that you understand how vital these organs are, let's talk about how seemingly innocent foods start to break them down. Let's say you're trying to eat healthy. You grab a protein bar or a smoothie with spinach, berries, maybe even a scoop of protein powder. Sounds good, right? But here's where it gets tricky. Certain health foods are extremely high in something called oxalates. Oxalates are naturally occurring compounds found in many plants. And while a little bit isn't harmful, a high intake, especially if your body has trouble breaking them down, can lead to oxalate crystals forming in your kidneys. Over time, these crystals can grow into kidney stones, or worse, scar the delicate tissues of your kidneys, causing long-term damage. Spinach, one of the worst offenders. Almonds, loaded with oxalates. Even sweet potatoes, beets, and black tea can be problematic if eaten in excess. And when you blend them into smoothies, you may be unknowingly concentrating their harmful effects. Here's another surprise. If you're using those pink salt or Himalayan salt crystals thinking they're a healthy alternative, you may still be overloading your kidneys with sodium. Excess sodium doesn't just raise your blood pressure, it also puts tremendous strain on your kidneys. According to the CDC and National Kidney Foundation, a high-sodium diet is one of the top contributors to kidney disease because it forces your kidneys to work overtime trying to balance electrolytes and blood volume. Over time, this pressure damages the delicate filtration units, called nephrons, inside your kidneys, and once those are gone, they don't grow back. And what about processed meats? Bacon, ham, sausage, and even turkey slices. These are packed with not only sodium, but also nitrates and phosphates. Those preservatives are especially harmful to your kidneys. Phosphates are used to enhance flavor and shelf life, but they also bypass the natural digestive process, rapidly entering the bloodstream and overloading the kidneys with phosphate. High phosphate levels can lead to calcification of blood vessels and tissues, reducing kidney function and increasing the risk of cardiovascular disease. A double hit. That healthy turkey sandwich? It might not be as safe as you think. Let's take a second to think about beverages. Are you reaching for diet sodas to cut back on sugar? Maybe you're sipping them daily, thinking they're a lesser evil. But studies now link artificially sweetened beverages, especially those containing aspartame and sucralose, to a higher risk of kidney decline. Research from Harvard and the Nurses' Health Study found that women who drank more than 2 diet sodas per day experienced a 30% greater decline in kidney function over 20 years compared to those who didn't. And men are not immune. These artificial chemicals may interfere with kidney cell signaling, create low-grade inflammation, and disrupt electrolyte balance over time. But wait, what if you're avoiding processed food and eating whole grains like brown rice and whole wheat bread? That's supposed to be healthy, right? Not necessarily. While whole grains offer fiber and nutrients, they also contain relatively high levels of inorganic phosphorus. Unlike the natural phosphorus found in meats and dairy, inorganic phosphorus is more readily absorbed by the body, up to 90%, and this can create excess levels that stress your kidneys. Plus, these foods often come with another hidden risk: glyphosate residue from conventional farming practices. Glyphosate, the controversial herbicide used in large-scale agriculture, has been linked in emerging studies to kidney damage, particularly in people with already compromised renal function. So even your morning bowl of oatmeal might not be as innocent as it seems. Now let's touch on protein. Yes, your body needs protein, but the type and amount matter more than you might think. Excessive animal protein, especially from red meat, can overburden your kidneys. Here's why. When you metabolize protein, your body produces waste products like urea and creatinine. Normally, your kidneys filter these out. But if you're consistently eating too much protein, especially without balancing it with enough hydration and plant-based nutrients, your kidneys may struggle to keep up. And when kidney function begins to decline, high-protein diets accelerate the damage. This doesn't mean you need to go vegan, but balancing your intake with legumes, moderate portions, and plenty of water can make a big difference. And speaking of hydration, are you drinking enough water? Or are you relying on coffee and energy drinks to get through the day? Energy drinks especially can be a dangerous trap. Not only are they often loaded with caffeine and sugar substitutes, but they also contain high levels of taurine and other additives that may increase blood pressure and dehydrate you. Chronic dehydration is one of the fastest ways to impair kidney function. Your kidneys need a steady supply of water to flush out toxins and regulate minerals. Without it, uric acid builds up, leading to kidney stones and eventual damage. If your urine is dark, or you only pee a couple of times a day, you're already stressing your kidneys more than you think. Now let's imagine something else. You're sitting down to a nice dinner. There's a big portion of grilled chicken, sounds good, but it's smothered in barbecue sauce. That sauce? It's packed with added sugars, and sometimes even high fructose corn syrup. Fructose is metabolized in the liver, and when consumed in large quantities, especially from processed sources, it creates byproducts like uric acid. High uric acid is a major risk factor for gout, but also for kidney disease. In fact, studies show that elevated uric acid levels directly contribute to kidney inflammation and reduced glomerular filtration rate, the key measure of how well your kidneys are functioning. And don't think that fruit juices are safe either. Apple juice, grape juice, even so-called organic blends are often just concentrated fructose bombs. They spike your blood sugar, burden your liver, and trigger a cascade of inflammatory reactions that extend all the way to your kidneys. If you're trying to hydrate with juice instead of soda, you might be trading one problem for another. But perhaps the most dangerous food for your kidneys is also one of the most overlooked: instant noodles, packaged ramen, and similar ultra-processed convenience foods. Not only are these loaded with sodium, artificial flavors, and chemical preservatives, but they also tend to have zero nutritional value. These products create a perfect storm of kidney stress: high salt, artificial ingredients, blood sugar spikes, and nutrient depletion. And what's worse is how common they are in people's weekly routines, especially in younger adults who don't realize they're planting the seeds of chronic disease years before symptoms appear. So let's bring it back full circle. You're not going to wake up one day with your kidneys failing out of nowhere. It happens slowly, it happens silently, but it almost always happens with the same pattern: daily choices made without awareness. Food that tastes good in the moment, but chips away at your internal health day after day. And by the time you start to feel fatigue, swelling, high blood pressure, or decreased urination, it's already late in the game. But here's the power in all of this. Kidney damage can be prevented and even slowed or reversed in early stages. That power is in your hands, and it starts on your plate. It's always like this. At first it seems silly. A little pain, a change in your tests, insomnia that comes and goes, but suddenly it becomes routine. And when you finally seek help, it's already harder. But what if you could act before it gets to that point? A natural, effective, and safe solution is within your reach, and it has already helped thousands of people who were in your shoes. The difference? They decided to act. Do the same now. See the pinned comment before this opportunity disappears. And now that we've peeled back the curtain on some of the most dangerous and deceptively normal foods out there, let's keep going, because the next ones on this list are even more subtle, even more embedded in our daily habits, and they might be the very things you're still eating right now, thinking they're harmless. Let's talk about breakfast cereal. Yes, even the ones with whole grains, especially the ones labeled heart-healthy, low-fat, or fortified with vitamins. It's not just the sugar that makes these a nightmare for your kidneys. It's the combination of refined carbs, synthetic additives, and phosphates. And here's what's terrifying. Phosphate additives are often hidden. They're not always listed as phosphate on the label. Instead, you'll see names like sodium acid pyrophosphate, calcium phosphate, or phosphoric acid. These are added to boost shelf life, texture, and flavor, but they also bypass the body's slow, natural digestion process and hit the bloodstream at full force, overloading your kidneys with a mineral they're not equipped to eliminate in large quantities. The result? Progressive calcification, scar tissue, and chronic kidney stress. Think of your kidneys as a precision machine. Everything has to pass through tiny filters, thousands of them. These filters don't regenerate once they're destroyed. So every time you eat foods overloaded with hidden phosphates or sodium, you're wearing down that filtering system. And once the damage adds up, there's no quick fix. Your kidneys don't heal with a pill. They heal or collapse based on lifestyle. Here's another one: canned soups and instant sauces. These are what I call stealth offenders. They masquerade as quick fixes, warm, savory, comforting, but underneath, they're loaded with 800 to 200 milligrams of sodium per serving. And let's be real, no one eats just one serving. You pour the whole can, the whole packet. You just hit your sodium limit for the entire day in one sitting. And that sodium isn't just salty, it's toxic in the long run. It forces your kidneys to hold on to water to dilute the sodium concentration, increasing blood pressure, causing swelling in the hands, feet, even around the eyes. Over time, this constant pressure stiffens the blood vessels in your kidneys and shrinks the arteries that supply them. That means less oxygen, less nutrient flow, and more irreversible damage. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you thought about what's in your condiments? Ketchup, barbecue sauce, soy sauce, salad dressings? These are loaded with 2 kidney killers: sugar and sodium. But there's one more culprit hiding in these products that deserves special attention: monosodium glutamate, or MSG. MSG is a flavor enhancer that stimulates your taste buds to make processed foods taste richer and more satisfying than they really are. But multiple studies suggest MSG may also increase oxidative stress and inflammation in the kidneys. It disrupts nerve signaling in the brain, and in high quantities, it has been linked to metabolic syndrome, a known risk factor for chronic kidney disease. Now, imagine pouring that over your food every day for years. It's not a single bite that does the damage. It's the pattern, the habit. And here's where things get really personal for a lot of men: sports drinks and protein supplements. These products are often marketed as health boosters for active lifestyles, but many of them contain more hidden sugars, phosphates, and artificial sweeteners than a can of soda. And if you're using them after workouts or as meal replacements, the effects add up fast. Some protein powders are also extremely high in nitrogen waste compounds. Why does that matter? Because when your body digests protein, it creates waste, urea, ammonia, and nitrogen compounds that your kidneys are responsible for filtering out. If you're consistently overloading your body with low-quality protein from powders, shakes, and bars, you're forcing your kidneys to work overtime. Over time, that burden becomes inflammation, fibrosis, and filtration loss. Are you starting to see the pattern? It's not just about bad foods. It's about how frequently you're eating them and how normalized it's become to live in a high-sodium, high-sugar, phosphate-loaded, over-processed world. Now let's bring in another surprising group, restaurant meals. Whether it's fast food or casual dining, most restaurant meals contain twice the sodium and phosphate levels recommended for daily intake. Why? Because they're engineered to taste amazing. Chefs use salt, sugar, and chemical additives not for nutrition, but for flavor and preservation. And while eating out occasionally won't kill you, doing it regularly, say 3 to 4 times a week, can be a slow poison for your kidneys. That's why chronic kidney disease is becoming more common in younger and younger adults. It's not genetics. It's lifestyle. But don't worry, there's a way out. This isn't about fear, it's about awareness. It's about knowing what to avoid so you can finally give your kidneys the break they desperately need. Because when you do, the results are profound. You feel lighter, more energetic, more mentally sharp, blood pressure stabilizes, fluid retention goes down, even your skin clears up. And yes, your libido improves, your testosterone levels normalize, and your prostate stays healthy longer. Because here's something that doesn't get talked about enough. Kidney health is directly linked to sexual health in men. When your kidneys start to decline, it disrupts hormonal balance, damages blood vessels, and leads to lower nitric oxide levels, all essential for healthy sexual function. So if you care about your energy, your performance, your confidence, this matters. Now, what can you do starting today? First, read labels like your life depends on it, because it does. Cut back or eliminate processed meats, instant meals, soda, and excessive protein powders. Reduce high oxalate foods if you're prone to kidney stones. Drink more water. Half your body weight in ounces daily is a solid starting point. If you're 180 pounds, aim for 90 ounces. Your kidneys thrive on hydration. Swap out high-phosphate foods with fresh options. Vegetables, healthy fats, pasture-raised proteins, and low-oxalate fruits like berries. Use lemon juice, herbs, and garlic instead of heavy sauces and salty condiments. Choose whole, unprocessed foods that your great-grandparents would recognize. Because real food doesn't come with a warning label. Here's the truth. Your kidneys are quietly working for you every second of every day. They never take a break. But if you overwhelm them, they will break, silently, gradually, until one day you're sitting in a doctor's office, hearing the word dialysis for the first time. And at that point, the options become few, expensive, and life-altering. But today, you have a choice. You can start reversing the damage. You can reclaim your energy, your strength, your manhood by changing what you eat. Not tomorrow, not next week, now. And if you want to go deeper and find out how small food swaps can protect not just your kidneys, but your brain, your heart, and your hormones, click and watch the next video that's on your screen right now. It might be the most important step you take toward lasting health.